Welcome, Guardians, to my first weapon review. Today, we're going to be exploring the brand new weapon that arrived with this year's Solstice of Heroes, the Fortunate Star. Is this the new must-have in your arsenal, or just another engram to dismantle? Let's find out. Fortunate Star is a void lightweight bow, which already puts it in a rough spot with it being a lightweight. Lightweights are just so outclassed by precision bows when it comes to their stats. But, on the upside, we don't really have all that many options for alternatives when it comes to void bows. We have the likes of Luminarch, Under Your Skin, Imperial Needle, and Lithophobia. So, the question then becomes, is there anything that this bow can possibly do that the others can't? First, let's see what perks can roll on this weapon, and then we'll break down the perks that kind of stand out and see what this bow can do. Starting in the third column, we have Repulsor Brace, Air Trigger, Archer's Tempo, Enlightened Action, Hipfire Grip, Successful Warm-Up, and Loose Change. Then, in the fourth column, we have Disruption Break, Destabilizing Rounds, Golden Tricorn, Kill Clip, Opening Shot, Precision Instrument, and Archer's Gambit. One of the things that may immediately stand out is some of the perk synergies that are possible here. Perks like Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds paired on the same weapon can be great for clearing groups of adds and at the same time giving a Void Overshield for extra survivability. Another set of perks that many will probably overlook is Loose Change and Destabilizing Rounds. Loose Change reads, applying an elemental debuff to a target increases this weapon's reload speed, aim assist, and movement while aiming down sights for a short duration. So much like Repulsor Brace, this perk works very well with Destabilizing Rounds, as getting a kill gives an elemental debuff to enemies around the kill. So instead of an overshield, you will have a bonus to your reload speed, which does apply to bows even though a lot of players don't think that it does. When it comes to bows, you have to think of reload speed as how fast you can load an arrow to the bow, and then draw speed is how fast you can draw that arrow back to then be released at full power. Of course, there are also classic reload and damage combos that can be found as well on this weapon. Perks like Archer's Tempo, Enlightened Action, and Successful Warm-Up will all lower either your reload speed or draw speed. Then pair one of those with either Golden Tricorn, Kill Clip, or Precision Instrument, and you get that classic reload, draw speed, and damage combo. Now, there are things to keep in mind when it comes to these perks, such as the need for precision shots for perks like Archer's Tempo and Precision Instrument. If you're not landing those shots, you're really going to feel the weapon's performance drop. I personally would prefer either Enlightened Action or Successful Warm-Up paired with either Golden Tricorn or Kill Clip, but you obviously do whatever feels best for you. Now, let's talk PvP. Bows are very niche when it comes to PvP, and some would even consider it a cheesy playstyle. I personally am not much of a PvP player, and when I do play PvP, I tend to lean away from weapons like bows that I just don't play well with. But my personal preferences aside, Fortunate Star does roll with Disruption Break. If you're unfamiliar with this perk, it essentially gives your kinetic weapons a damage boost against an enemy whose shield you have broken. So in the Crucible, the idea would be to hit a crit with the bow to break the enemy's shield and then follow up with something like a kinetic hand cannon for a crazy fast TTK. I will say though, with my experience in using the bow, I found that it wasn't consistently breaking shields with my first shot, even if it was a crit, which probably is a matter of what the resilience is on the enemy that you're shooting, but still something to keep in mind as it is a pivotal piece in the bow kinetic swap playstyle. Overall, I can't say I am all too impressed with the bow whenever it comes to PvP. Bows are just very niche, as I mentioned before, and even in that niche, I feel like there are better options for bows that would more consistently break shields with one shot, even on a higher resilience Guardian. So for a PvP rating from 1 to 10, with 1 being trash and 10 being a Slayer, I would give Fortunate Star a 2 out of 10, with the only reason it's not a 1 being the possibility of bow kinetic swap playstyle. Next, let's switch gears to PvE. Fortunate Star shows a lot more potential than it did in PvP. When using the perk synergies that we mentioned before, it's particularly effective in at-level content. You can see in the background gameplay that just using destabilizing rounds is mowing down groups of adds with really not much of an issue. But really, any weapon can be considered a good weapon when in at-level content. However, in higher level content such as Master Raids, Dungeons, and GM Nightfalls, suddenly it becomes a different story. So then the question becomes, how practical is it to use the Fortunate Star with these perks in higher level content? In the case of Repulsor Brace paired with destabilizing rounds while in higher level content, the bow's performance is not phenomenal. Repulsor Brace doesn't activate on kill if the volatile burst kills the enemy and not the shot from the bow. So the idea of constantly having an overshield, or at least reliably, is just not there. Secondly, destabilizing rounds is not technically a damage perk, and though it may help damage more enemies, when it comes to damaging meteor targets, it does nothing for you, and you are stuck plinking away at a major or something else like it. On top of that, there is a hidden cooldown for when it can be activated again, which really hurts this perk when comparing it to things like Volt Shot and Incandescent, which have no cooldowns. However, using the Reload Damage Boost classic combo, you can constantly take down minor enemies quickly and chunk meteor targets faster. So, with a combo like Enlighten Action and Kill Clip, you can consistently fire faster, and since you are always reloading with a bow, you will almost always have that damage boost up, which means constantly one-tapping minors and less time plinking away at majors. Plus, if you use Girl Falcons, you can have the volatile shots, same as if you had destabilizing rounds. Overall, I can't say that I am blown away by the bow in PvE. It certainly is a fun weapon to use when in at-level content like strikes, but like I said before, just about anything can feel fun in at-level content. Then when it comes to higher level content, it performed consistently well when using that classic reload damage combo. So, for a PvE rating, I would give Fortunate Star a 6 out of 10 because of the fun aspect it brings with all the volatile kabloomies and its ability to hold its own in higher level content. So, how does Fortunate Star stack up against other Void bows? When it compares to the likes of Le Monarque, Under Your Skin, Imperial Needle, and Lithophobia, it definitely isn't the best in slot. Under Your Skin already has a leg up just for being a precision bow and not a lightweight. When it comes to Imperial Needle and Lithophobia, despite the fact that they are also lightweight bows, they still outclass Fortunate Star when it comes to their perk pulls. Imperial Needle can roll with the likes of Impulse Amplifier in the third column and Swashbuckler or Frenzy in the fourth column. Then, Lithophobia, which is also craftable, can have perks like Impulse Amplifier, Enlightened Action, or Successful Warm-Up in the third column, with Golden Tricorn or Explosive Head in the fourth column. When it comes to comparing it to Le Monarque, I would say the only thing that it has on it is the fact that it is a legendary and doesn't take up an exotic slot. So, while Fortunate Star excels in volatile kabloomies and is a fun weapon in at-level content, if you are looking for a bow that excels regardless of the content that you're in, whether it be strikes or master raids and dungeons, you might want to stick with one of its counterparts. They just have way better selection of perks. So, what's the final verdict on Fortunate Star? Overall, this weapon is a 5 out of 10 for me. Is it a great weapon? Not really. Is it a terrible weapon? No, I wouldn't say so. It's just, there are just a lot better options available when it comes to other bows that I can put in my energy slot. Well, Guardians, that's it for today's review. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and leave a comment if you think that there is an aspect of the weapon that I may have overlooked, or you just have a different take on it. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more Destiny 2 content. But until next time, keep your ghosts close and your enemies closer. Happy hunting!